Well, hello and welcome, folks. This is Christian Sadler. I'm calling out of Murray, Utah, and this is your Renatus Founders webinar. We're going to go ahead and start this webinar at the top of the hour. So in the meantime, I just want to announce some of you that have joined us on the line. Congratulate you for being here. So let's start that off with Robert Odell, Reese Moore, Dale Clark, Amanda Robinson, Alex Enriquez, Victoria Claiborne, Ilam Rebecca, Heather Hargrave, Juan Diaz, Deanna Torres Lucio, Joseph Knight, Brian Todd, Guy Larson, Ian Phillips, Anthony Ulowski, John and Ty Williams, Carlos Navarez, Jeff Massey, Diane and Lloyd Leftridge, Shelley Wadsworth, Tammy Stifel, Amanda Bedawa, Sr., Devin Colon, Laura Lehigh, Anna Lopez, Deary Cheatham, Scott Frederici, Jerry Ruffin, Hebert Kishan, Carmen Phillips, Donna Giambarsi, Nancy Downs, and Christine Wilkins. All of you folks, welcome to the line. Congratulations for being here. Let's continue down the line with Roberta Hazard, Rhonda Luff, Joseph Knight and Cindy Hanley, Christopher Hill, LaShawn Austin, Gavin James, Balthazar Aparicio, Seraphin Sierra, Kent Murphy, Scott Kaiserman, Alice Kinson, David Doctera, Anna Weaver, Anna Katoni Yildirim, Kevin Fulkerson, LaShawn Cochran, and Deslin Odell. All of you folks, welcome to the line. Congratulations for being here. Let's continue down with Jackie Mola, Stephen Quinn, Linda Harris, Russell Clegg, Scott Knowlton, Mac Mayfield, Ronnie Collins, Bruce Carr, Laura Brown, Grace Olola, Michael Brown, Teresa Weaver, Cindy Igay, Stacy Nava, Antonio Lobo, Travis Patrick, and Candy Baker-Gion. All of you folks, welcome to the line. Congratulations for being here. Now, folks, I was getting tripped up on names for a couple reasons there, but mostly we just got a whole heck of a lot of names here coming in the line, and unfortunately we're out of time. So if I did not get the chance to welcome you personally, I'm taking the time to do so now. Welcome and congratulations for joining us here on the Founders webinar. We're going to go ahead and get this webinar started, and I have the opportunity and the privilege to turn the rest of the time over to our founder, Mr. Bob Snyder. And Bob, as I turn this call over to you, turn this webinar over to you, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you do, everything that you've created, and everything that you do to make this opportunity better and better for each and every one of us. And I know that I say that not only for myself, but for students and IMAs all across the nation. Thank you so much, Bob, and I'll turn the rest of this webinar right over to you.
Hey, Bob, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Bob, if you're talking, we're not hearing you.
You know what? I made it back, and I really appreciate that great introduction. You're gonna find this one funny. You know what it's like when you got a new headset and you just aren't really sure between the mute and the disconnect button. I mean, there's just not muscle memory for it. Well, that's what happened tonight. I thought I was unmuting when in fact I was actually ending the call. So I'm back, but I'm really appreciative of everybody's attention and the fact that we have got another Rockin' Founders webinar this evening. We've got some great things planned for you. So I hope that each and every one of you will take some copious notes, think through the information you're going to receive, and then more importantly, get out there and apply it when we're done. All right. We got a few things to discuss. We got some weekly announcements. So we got a number of things that I hope you're all paying attention to because great things are going on in Renatus. I'm telling you, we just continue to improve our systems. We continue to improve our educational services. We continue to improve everything around this company. And one of the things that we're improving is no more checks. That's right. I mean, you know, today is July 8th. July 8th. I mean, if you have not switched over your account to direct deposit, then you need to understand that there is not going to be checks anymore. And the only way for us to get you paid is you got to go into your business center. You got to set up your payment information so that we can do an ACH deposit into your account or a direct deposit, making sure that you receive all of the earnings that you have coming to you. So please get that done now. Now, I'm sure that the individuals on this phone are not the folks that I need to be talking to, because the other individuals we have been talking to for 8 months now. 8 months, we've been telling them that this day would come. 8 months, we've also been sharing with them the fact that checks would no longer be a part of our future, and that only direct deposit ACH deposits into their accounts would take over. Well, that day's coming up, so make sure you got it done, because otherwise we can't get you paid. And we want to get you paid for the work that you're doing. So let's get that taken care of. All right, enough on that. Hey, Panama is right around the corner. Holy smokes, August 9th through the 13th. Wow, have we got an incredible event for you. I mean, this is going to be the biggest, the grandest, the best of the best down in Panama. And those of you who haven't been to Panama before, I know that you're going to have a similar experience to what I did. I went down there on a site inspection and was just absolutely blown away. I fell in love with that little country and all that it has to offer. And the fact that it's had U.S., influence, not to mention U.S. Infrastructure support and assistance for the last 100 years, it didn't hurt things either. So also the nice thing about Panama is that the U.S. dollar is their currency. There isn't any exchange rate, because you're just trading dollar for dollar and everybody accepts it because it's the nation's currency. So I really love that. It's a wonderful place. It's a clean place. You're going to love what you see. It's got old, it's got new, it's got high rises, it's got ruins from the 1500s. It's got everything. And it's going to have the leaders for this year's 2019 Leaders Retreat, where they get an opportunity to hang out with you and you get to pick their brains and find out what makes them tick. That's what I love about it. You get to connect with the leaders as well as your team. You get to learn the system of success from top income earners as you're able to pick their brains and really, get to know them at the Leaders Retreat training and the different social events that we put together. I mean, we get to hang out with great people at all of the parties and the different events that we've got planned. And it's exclusive for leaders, by leaders, or up-and-coming leaders. Now, I will tell you this. We've really done a great job. Here's what's happened in the past. We've spent a lot of time going to all-inclusive resorts. And at an all-inclusive resort, once you land, everything is taken care of. They just build it into the upfront price, which is why at an all-inclusive, generally you're $395 to $450 a night for their base room. But at the Westin in Panama, we designed a program around that, because at an all-inclusive resort, there's an awful lot of folks who said, Bob, we're just wasting all the meals and all the drink that we didn't get to enjoy because we're always off property enjoying these incredible excursions. I had another group who said, you know what, I'm really getting tired of going to Mexico. I mean, can't we find someplace, a little cooler, a little grander, a little more exotic? So that's why we put on our thinking cap and we put together a great program where some of those important features that you're used to will be included in the hotel room and fare. Transfers to and from the hotel are included. You don't need to worry about transfers or transportation once you get to Panama, because we're going to pick you up, we're going to get you to the hotel, and then we're going to pick you up from the hotel and get you back to the airport. So those are all included with your room block pricing. Friday night welcome reception is also included, including, the hors d'oeuvres and drink that goes along with that. Daily breakfast each day that you're there is also included in your hotel room charge. The big group training on Saturday, August 10th at 9 a.m. also included. And we've got small group trainings with myself or a member of the pack Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon that, we put into the mix. Now, here's one thing that is an additional charge, and that is the big group excursion with myself and the pack that takes place on Monday, August 12th. We're going to go to the Panama Canal Partial Transit tour, and this is an epic adventure. I think that's probably the best way to really talk about it. An epic adventure to the Panama Canal, where you're going to really get a well-rounded education as to how this incredible thing came to be and just how much commerce it influences around the world. It's pretty fascinating. The next thing is that is included in your room charge is the Monday evening farewell banquet. We're doing a themed banquet. It's going to be all about pirates because we know how a lot of the Renatus community loves to dress up. So we're going to have a Monday evening farewell banquet and a great time for all as we get to enjoy that. Now, here's something that we've done. Why did we do it? Well, very honestly, it's because I overbooked. The last 3 years in a row, we have sold out, and I didn't want to be in a position where we had to go back to the hotel and try to beg for more rooms and maybe not be able to get them. So I overbooked. I overestimated how many folks would be coming with us on the Leaders Retreat, which means there's a whole bunch of empty rooms. And if you know anything about booking room blocks, you know that if those empty rooms aren't filled, your good old yours truly, Mr. Bob Snyder, gets to write a check for those rooms. So we've decided, well, what are we going to do? Well, if we've got empty rooms, we want to make sure that everybody is invited to join us. So we opened up registration to all IMAs, as well as any family members that they choose to invite. Now, in the past, we've just kind of had a loose policy that, if you wanted to bring mom and dad with you, you certainly could. But we thought we'd make it a special invite this year so that those individuals who want to come and join us, whether they're qualified or not, doesn't matter. Whether they just got started, they've been with us for 5 years, doesn't matter. It's now open to all IMAs. And if their family members want to book a room and come, they can do that as well. The registration deadline's been extended to July 20th. And at July 20th, my travel team is telling me that that's the last day that we can do it because they need time to make sure they prepare for everybody's pickup and drop off and all the excursions and different things that are taking place. So come to Panama. Come join us at the 2019 Renatus Leaders Retreat. We got a program that'll blow you away. We got training that'll excite you. We got networking opportunities that are unprecedented, and you're going to love that country as I have fallen in love with it. I bet you will too. That's August 9th through the 12th. Registration is open to everybody. It's in your business center. Get her done. All right. Here's another great thing. We are the best. I love how they've titled this slide. The Renatus community and its staff have been awarded Best of State in the state of Utah. Now, that's a big deal here. This is a huge banquet attended by a few thousand people who are all vying for the opportunity to be able to grab one of those impressive little medallions and claim their heritage as Best of State. Well, we've done it 2 years in a row now. So this is the second year, and we're looking forward to, driving this forward to the number 3. 2019, we got it in seminar training and education, and we're really excited to be able to share that award with you because it wouldn't be made possible were it not for you. All right. I hope you've downloaded the Renatus Velocity Banking app and are enjoying that. I hope that you're getting your guests to download the Renatus Velocity Banking app and getting them to enjoy that because it's a powerful little tool that just demonstrates how great this strategy is. It's really simple. All you got to do is go to renatus.me/Google or renatus.me/Apple, or just go to the Apple Store or the Google Store and type in Renatus Velocity Banking. Either way, you'll be able to get this thing downloaded to your mobile device so that you can start using it and start giving folks a real good idea as to the power of the strategy and the kind of savings that are available to them by employing this strategy. All right, new class. We're really excited about this because we've got a new class with none other than Mr. Nathan Taylor. Nathan's coming into the studio. That's Thursday, August 1st. He'll be in the studio at 8:30 a.m. And then we're going to do some online streaming in the Business Center for those that have the appropriate accelerated investor training package as well. You do not want to miss that. Put it on your calendar. If you can be in studio with Nathan, you're going to love it because his program on due diligence is really going to show you how to crunch the numbers and how to make sure you've got a formula that works so that you make money and don't lose money on your real estate deals. Here's another one. We've got a class update, seller financing and subject to with Brian Sump. Well, this is Friday, August 2nd. We're going to have Brian in the studio, and he's going to be there once again. We're going to stream it across the nation live to those individuals who own that course so that they can get the updated information and be able to capitalize on all the subject to deals that are available out there. Again, a reminder, that's Thursday, August 1st and Friday, August 2nd. Come join us in the Renatus studio. Here's another great one. The next day, this would be Saturday, August 3rd, we're doing a corporate Renatus intensive. Now, we've gotten pretty good at this. We do them a couple of times a year. We invite an instructor into the studio, and then what we do is, well, we let them teach their content and wow and amaze those that are in attendance. It's an opportunity for you to put your guests into a room, into your living room, into your office, into a hotel room or an event center where this is being hosted so that they can get a taste of the Renatus education and see just how powerful it is and how much our educators and trainers know. So you don't want to miss that. It starts at 9 a.m. Mountain Time on August 3rd. That's Heather Echevarria. She's going to be teaching the subject of fix and flip on the Renatus Corporate Intensive that we will be broadcasting live from the Renatus studio. All right, here's our web feature focus of the week. We got a new learning path, a brand new learning path that we have just put out there. To access it, well, you need to have an accelerated investor training combo or grand package. And then here's what you've got. If you've got the extreme, then you're able to access this new learning path, okay? It's on short-term rentals. Now, you've got short-term rentals. You know, one of the individuals that we've highlighted in there is going to be Nicole Call teaching contracts. You got lease options in there. You got title, escrow, and closing in there. But here's what else you've got. You got a whole lot of information. Short-term rentals has 3 solid days, 3 days of Jay Massey in the studio teaching you what he has learned over years of applying this education to building his own short-term rental business. You're going to love it. It's going to be a powerful tool that you're all going to be able to enjoy. All you got to do is select education, then learning paths, and you're going to be able to see the new learning path on short-term rentals. That means the new course in Helios, short-term rentals day 1, is complete. Short-term rentals day 2 and day 3 are going to be coming out within the next few days. So day 1's already there. I would dig in and start learning because that was a powerful class. We also have, some great Renatus video assets. A nice course overview of short-term rentals is also available for you in Helios. And I hope you take advantage of that as we interviewed Jay and Poppy Massey and talked to them about their business and what makes this such a unique opportunity. All right, moving right along. Hey, we announced last Monday night our new Renatus program, our Superstars. We want you to be Superstar qualified, and we're recognizing exceptional 1-star and 5-star team builders. It begins July 1st. So it's already going on, right? So you might refer to it as the Renatus Summer Rally or as the Superstar Success Program. Either way, here's what it consists of. If you get 1-star qualified in 30 days, now that's for existing non-qualified IMAs. All you got to do if you're existing prior to July 1st is sell 3 essentials packages in 30 days. For brand spanking new IMAs, well, the fastest way to do it is, you can sell 3 or you can just purchase your own and sell 2 essentials in 30 days. Either way, you're going to get yourself 1-star qualified in 30 days. And then we're going to interview you at the Nationals. We're going to give you access to the Renatus Prize Vault. We're going to give you a brand new 1-star lapel pin that designates you as 1-star qualified or Superstar qualified, I should say. What about those that are 5-star qualified? Well, in the lower left-hand corner of your screen is a graphic illustration of what your pin is going to look like. So it's going to set you aside from everybody else out there because they're going to know that you got 5-star qualified in 60 days. For all existing non-qualified IMAs, listen, if you sell 3 extreme combo packages in the next 60 days, you're going to be Superstar qualified. For new IMAs, if you purchase your own combo and sell 2 combos, that's the fastest way to get it done in 60 days, you're going to be 5-star super qualified. Then you're going to get the pin at recognition. You're going to get a ticket to the national conference paid for by yours truly, recognition at the Nationals, and your Superstar 5-star pin. So take advantage of that. Every single person who's coming into the business, they want to be a marketer and be involved as a seller of our education. They're going to want to set a goal for being 5-star qualified in 60 days or at least 1-star qualified in 30 days. Hey, we introduced our charity of choice, Operation Underground Railroad, at the national conference. And Tim Ballard and I had a lot of fun on stage. He did an absolutely amazing job as we put this whole thing together and introduced him and his incredible cause, a cause that pulls at your heartstrings, because today we've got 2 million children worldwide that live as sex slaves. 2 million. Well, we want to free the children, and then we want to break the cycle. How do we do that? By teaming up this incredible organization, because they've got special ops units that literally go into other countries and they do sting operations, and they find these these barbarians who are perpetrating these horrendous crimes on children, and they rescue those kids away from them, and then they put them into aftercare. Well, all of that takes money. And you know what? We don't have to go on a special ops mission. We don't have to be there in the care homes and being a part of that. We don't have to go through years and years of psychological and psychiatric training to be able to assist these kids. They've got good people for that. But again, it takes money. So we can support that effort in a very big way. Right now, there's a special opportunity because thanks to Tony Robbins, your donation is going to be tripled today. There's a special promotion going on right now where Tony Robbins said, all the money you raise during this certain period of time, whatever you raise, I'm gonna triple it. Triple it. Think about that. I mean, you throw in $25, it means it's $75. You throw in 50, it's going to take it to 150. Throw in 100, it's going to mean $300 for the charity, and so on and so forth. So all you've got to do is this. You just go to this website. It's my.ourrescue, or OURrescue.org/Tony Robbins. And on that page, you're going to find, how did you hear about us? You're going to see Renatus down there. It's, kind of in the lower, almost center of your screen, or to the left of your screen, where we've got it highlighted in red. Click on Renatus, and that way that credits back to our organization so that we can keep track of what kind of support we've been able to give to OUR during this campaign and other campaigns as well. It's our goal to really move forward, become their largest donating corporation, and I know with your help we can get the job done. All right. Well, now it's time for us to kick on over to the Renatus Weekly Top 10. Top 10. These are the top 10 IMAs with the most guests in attendance at presentations and on webinars this last week. Now, this is pretty impressive because that's a short week. For most folks, I mean, their week ended on Wednesday because their holiday began on Thursday, right? So I'm still impressed with the numbers you guys are making happen. You got Stephen Hideki Nomura tearing it up out there in Chicago. 12 guests at online and at presentations this last week. Congratulations to you. In the number 9 position, you got Tracy Pulley with 14 guests. Then you got Ruben Aquino with 15 guests. He landed in the number 8 position. How about Ricardo Beecham, number 7, landed in the, a spot with 17 guests there. Who's number 6? Well, that's Tom and Shelley Herman with 17 as well. And then breaking into the top 5 with 19 guests, you got Mark Strayer. So I want to say congratulations to you. Number 4 goes to Jack Roddy this week with 21 guests. Antonio Lobo didn't want to be outdone. 23 guests, got him in the number 3 position. And then Zach Ullman and Sumari Senio. I think we spelled her name wrong. I thought it was Centennial. Leon, sorry, Sumari. 27 guests. And number 1 this week, well, that's Ferry and Grace Maria Isaiah with 30. Now let's move on over to the top 10 event hosts and see how that's shaking loose. In the number 10 position, you get Kevin Tuttle out in Orlando, Florida, making it happen. James and Lisa Lee, Sacramento, California, number 9 this week. Number 8 goes to Tom Robinson in St. Louis, Missouri. And Tom, proud of you, buddy. And St. Louis is on the map. Number 7 goes out to Jim Holmes and Debbie Worthington out in Sewanee, Georgia. And then we've got Hugh Zaretsky and the New York team. They didn't want to be outdone. They're number 6 this week. And breaking into the top 5 is Dr. Gary and Sylvia Lawrence down in Scottsdale, Arizona. Who's number 4? Well, that's Michael and Vanessa Huggins and Christian Sadler, the Salt Lake City crew. Number 3, Antonio Lobo. He's not only on the board for most guests in attendance, but he's there as one of the top event hosts, number 3 this week. Then we got number 2, that's Scott and Nancy Rowe, Mr. Bob Tierney out of Chicago, Illinois. Who's number 1 for the week? Number 1, bump the champions off of their pedestal for a week. Hey, that's Zach Ullman and Sumari Centennial Leon down in Phoenix, Arizona. So congratulations, Zach. You did a great job, man. You and Sumari are just cranking it. Keep up the great work. I love to get the reports back on attendance, on sales, on excitement, on deals. It's fun to see what's taking place in Phoenix. All right. Well, now it's time for us to transition on over because, well, we've got a story to tell. Actually, we've got a couple on the phone who are going to tell their story. And I love the featured story of the week. You're going to love this couple. I mean, they're 5-star qualified. They're out there applying the education. They're doing great work, and you get to meet them. So let's bring on out here Levi and Jill Hunsaker. Levi, Jill, come on out.
Hi, thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
So I'm going to go first.
Oh.
There's too much gratitude to fit into 5 minutes, and I'm just going to quickly tell you what value I have found in Renatus. It's personal development. The high priority of that has been amazing. I've seen so many great changes in both Levi and myself, and it's been amazing to have such a great community of support around us with people who are just sincere and down to earth and willing to help. And every time we go to a meeting, or even when I watch the classes online, I'm re-energized and excited about building this business. And one of the biggest things to me is that I kind of had an aha moment after joining, and that's that I can be a good mom and a business owner, which is huge to me because I never really thought I could do both. And so that's been really amazing. I just want to shout out to a few people to say thank you for helping us in our journey. Number one, Bob Snyder for, founding this and making it all possible. And Carlos Dominguez and Fernando Villalobos. Sorry, I'm not great at my Spanish yet, but they have been great in helping us find some awesome deals and working with us. Michael and Vanessa Huggins have been wonderful to give us advice and just give us uplifting words. Dane Clark gave me some courage to get up and speak and do things that are out of my comfort zone. And Ryan and Laura have been our friends for years, and we saw each other go through hard things and good things, and then they took us under their wing, and I'm so grateful to them for their friendship. And without Amanda and Dave Robinson and Becky and Derek Elam, I just wanted to thank them for joining the family and supporting us to that extent. And I will turn the rest over to Levi. Thank you.
Okay, so a little bit about our story. I actually graduated from Utah State University with a master's degree in electrical engineering. So a lot of schooling. I found value in education, and kind of got started down that path. And Jill and I had been talking about doing rental properties since we first got married in 2004. But the biggest problem is we just didn't know how to get started. We had never even bought a home before, and so we just weren't sure what to do. When I graduated school, we bought our first house, and then a few years later turned that into our first rental. And that was a pretty good deal. And that's been since 2011. So we've had that for over 8 years, but we still weren't sure what to do. We talked about doing more, but we let the fear of not knowing how to do it hold us back from doing anything. In November of 2016, Ryan actually invited me down to, my first introduction presentation. And that's when I first learned about Renatus and first learned about velocity banking and how awesome that was. But at that point, my mindset was not quite ready to invest another $20,000 into my education. And so I said, I can figure this out on my own. And I went out and kind of started implementing velocity banking to a small degree. And that was working okay. But another year and a half went by, and there was still no further action in acquiring any more rental properties. And so at that point, we said, okay, something's got to change. I started researching other education companies and, went to some free guru events, which they upsell you to a 3-day course, and then they upsell you to a much bigger package where you have to travel around the country and take time off of work and go all of these different places to actually meet real people doing stuff. And at that point, I was like, you know what? This isn't what I saw with Renatus. We had actually bought into all this other education and, spent some money on that. But what I was seeing and recognizing was the value in Renatus was the education anytime, anywhere, and the ability to connect with people right in your own backyard. And so, traveling around the country does not define a community to me, but people that you can connect with on a daily basis, that's what community means to me. And so that was the biggest value that I had found in Renatus. And, it's one of those things where it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And so we were actually at one of these other events, and during lunch I stepped out and I called my friend Ryan Black, and I just said, Ryan, I am ready to get started. And so a couple of days later, he and I met up for lunch, and that's actually when I signed up for our Extreme Combo. And since then, we've dived into the education and been learning a lot. I kind of got a little bit of ADD going on with the courses at first, and explored a little bit here and there of all the different learning paths. And we kind of finally settled in on fix and flips and multifamily. And so we've gotten in with Carlos and Fernando on a couple of flips, and we're actively looking for our first multifamily property after going through the courses, and that gave us the confidence to know what to do and how to move forward. And I forgot to mention when we first got started, the marketing was brought up, and I thought, oh man, I don't really want to do that at all. And so 6 months went by, and we hadn't really shared what we were doing with anybody, and we hadn't really been contacting anybody. But what I found was that I had been learning things about the education, and I was sharing them anyway, but just in all the wrong ways. I was trying to teach instead of trying to build for events. And, teaching one-on-one every single strategy I found was not a good use of my time. And so we finally caught the vision after going to a couple of Super Saturdays and started marketing in February of this year. And a couple of months later, through introducing some of our family members to the power of what Renatus has available and the change that it can bring in financial security, as well as the change in personal development, we have been able to get 5-star qualified. So one of the best things about that has been that we have been able to change lives, especially the people that we care about most. And we're just going to keep going. And, I'd like to take just a minute to thank Bob Snyder. This is a really amazing program that you have built. And it took me a while to catch the vision of it, but I'm all on board. And I just love to share the power that this brings into our lives. We also work with Carlos and Fernando on these deals, and they have been so good to help us. And also Dane Clark, as we got started, we got in as a lender on our first deal, and we had no clue what to do, and he was able to plug us in and help us get going and just be a great help in that process. And then especially Ryan and Laura Black also. They have been great friends and great support through all of this process of change and growth and development. And so we just wanted to take those few minutes and thank those people and just say that Renatus rocks.
You know what, Levi? Renatus does rock, and so do you and Jill. And I'm so thrilled you were able to come out here and be a part of our webinar this evening. I mean, you're a featured story, and And it just is amazing to me to see how folks get involved and how many individuals are just like you. How many individuals are like, hey, I want to become a real estate investor. I want to get involved in the education. I love what you guys are doing, but don't talk to me about, sharing this opportunity with others. Cause I mean, I'm just going to become an investor and don't want to market. And then somewhere along the line, you fall in love with the education and then you just can't stay quiet. And that's when I think things really change. And you're, I think, a good example of that. So congratulations. Now you're on both sides of the business with an opportunity to share it and an opportunity to benefit from it. And I can't wait to see how your story continues to unfold. So thanks for being our featured story this evening. All right, it's time for us to move right along to the featured training of the week. We've got a good one for you. One of our educators. That's right. It's none other than Mr. Darren Davis is going to spend some time with us. He's going to talk about education in action and what it means to really be an investor and how what he's learned over the years can help you accelerate the pace without having to go through the pitfalls. So, Darren, I'm so thrilled to be able to introduce you as our featured trainer this evening. Come on out here, my friend, and I'll move the presenter controls over your way.
Great, Bob. Thank you. While you're doing that, I wanted to share a short story because just this last week I was visiting a property. Actually, I was analyzing a property that I'm always doing that stuff, right? I'm always analyzing properties. And let me see if I can get my screen up here for you. You guys see that okay? If you don't, let me know. But I was analyzing this property. I'd done everything I could do at home as far as figuring out what my offer price can be on this house. And there were no pictures online. I was struggling a little bit about with what kind of repairs I was going to have to put into this property. And I figured it was time to go out and take a visit. So I got out there and I entered the property with permission, of course, just in case anyone was wondering. I entered the property and I had my camera, my phone in one hand, and my other hand promptly went over my mouth and my nose because, well, this house was in a little bit of an older neighborhood, and and it was kind of in a rough condition because it had been a rental for a few years, and you could tell that it had not been cleaned since before the previous renters had moved in. I went and I was taking some quick pictures so I could remember the property that I was looking at so I could do my analysis later. And I was being very careful about where I stepped because, well, as there were animals that had been in the house for a lot of years, and there was a lot of personal items that were left behind. Some people might call it trash, but there was a lot of stuff on the floors and in the house. And so I've got my camera in one hand and I've got my other hand over my face, and I'm doing my due diligence to the best of my ability. And I'm walking along and I'm being careful where I'm stepping in. And I look down at my feet and I was really surprised at what I saw. I mean, you wouldn't believe what it was. And all of a sudden I noticed, you know what, guys, I forgot. I should have thanked Bob first because, Bob's a phenomenal man. He has built relationships with fantastic teachers and leaders, and he hasn't kept those to himself. He's actually gone and shared them with us. He's shared them with us through Renatus. People like Jay Stark, who can give me a call at late in the evening after work hours and say, hey, buddy, why don't you come and speak to the Renatus Nation? I get to do that kind of live already anyway as an instructor. I get out to most of your areas. But to do it all at one time, that's pretty awesome. And I wanted to thank Jay for thinking of me above everybody else to come out and train you this evening. You know, that just really strokes my validation eye. And I just had to say thank you really quick to the corporate office, because they do so much that's unseen. You know, you may wonder, you know, as a Renatus student, you know, why the Presidential Advisory Council, the President's Advisory Council, and the instructors, you know, praise the corporate office. Well, frankly, it's because they bribe us. Yeah, they do. You know, this last week I got a birthday card, and they had all written in it little positive anecdotes and signatures and, hey, you're doing a great job, and all of those things in a birthday card. You know, I'm never throwing that away. But that was phenomenal. And I know, I don't know, it probably wasn't one of the guys there at the office that came up with that idea. I got to find out what gal did, but that was a fantastic thing, and I really enjoyed that. So thank you, corporate office. Hey, but I'm your auctions analysis instructor. And you might be thinking to yourself, hey, I'm not really that interested in auctions. Why are we highlighting the auctions analysis class? What's so important about auctions analysis? It is my belief that the information found in my class will help you with all of your real estate investing. Let me repeat that. It is my belief that the information that I teach you in my class will help you with all of your real estate investing. Now, you may be looking a little bit like this. You know, how is that exactly going to happen? Well, you know, this is kind of the way I looked when I first got started with real estate investing. Frankly, I just didn't even know where I was going to start. That's where I can help. You see, all real estate starts with analysis. I mean, Bob thinks this is so important that we now have, or will have, a whole class dedicated to analysis. Isn't that fantastic? You see, it doesn't matter if you're doing land development, if you're buying and holding notes, analysis is necessary. If you want to know if you've got yourself a good deal or not, you need to understand analysis. And whether it's analyzing auction properties or properties to flip or properties to hold or properties for short-term rentals or whatever the case might be, it all starts with analysis. And you may be wondering to yourself, like, hey, I don't even know what analysis is. How do I even start with analysis? You know, share with me a little bit. Okay, let me tell you, you are already a phenomenal analyzer. Okay? You're already analyzing every day, whether it be with your job or in your household or as you walk down the street or you're walking through the mall. You're analyzing, you're at the grocery store. What lasagna noodles am I going to buy? Well, you do some quick analysis, right? Between the store-bought brand or the store name brand or the famous Italian brand. What are you going to do? For example, back when I was a paint pump mechanic, now this was not that long ago, I started my career path. I shouldn't say that. I bought my education, the educational services that Renatus provides. I bought mine in 2008, and I did my first flip in 2009. And flips they hold a near and dear spot in my heart, and they are my bread and butter. I have done literally since I started with Renatus, the educational service, and learned a little bit about real estate, and then learned a little more, and then learned a lot, and then went out and applied it, I've done over 225 flips. These are single family homes here in California where I'm at, as well as in the Midwest. And it's been quite a ride. I've made millions of dollars in real estate. And let me just tell you something. I never thought when I was a paint pump mechanic that I could ever say those words. So I don't know where you are right now. Just know that you don't have to have a master's degree. Not knocking it, just saying. You don't even have to have a high school diploma. I happen to have one of those. You can become the person that you want to be, that deals with real estate, makes millions of dollars, and, it's possible you could end up as an instructor for Renatus. Bob would love to have you teach a class on what you're passionate about. Let's see, I have some understanding there. So let's say you've got a paint pump and you're a paint pump mechanic. Now, if some guy drops it off and he's not sure what the problem is, what am I going to do? Well, I've got to do some analysis. Hey, does the gas motor start? Let's start there. Let's go with the first things first. Does it start? Is this where we're having the problem? Well, if it starts, well, maybe the paint pump here behind the paint pump that you can't see, maybe the paint pump is got some debris in there, is clogged. Maybe it's not actuating. If it's not, then I'm going to go and look at the hydraulic motor. And if that's not working and there's nothing wrong with it, I don't find any debris caught in there that got through the hydraulic oil filter or something like that, then I'm going to go and take a look at the hydraulic pump inside the hydraulic oil tank. And if that's working and I don't see any problems yet, I might actually go and take a look at the hose and the gun and see maybe there's some clogs there, maybe something's plugged up. But you see what I did here? I'm analyzing. I'm going step by step, by step, by step. And you do this already. This is no different than if you're going to go and take a look at a house that, let's say it was a house that you went and walked through just last week. And while you were walking through the house, you're being very careful of where you're stepping. And you look down at your feet, and I'll tell you something. I'm going to be 50 in a couple of years, and my eyes, anything about 3 feet in front of me is not as clear as it used to be. All of you that are younger than 40 and are going, well, that's never going to happen to me. Just plan on it. All right. I thought I was Superman a couple of years ago. I found out that I wasn't. And I looked down at my feet, and even though I don't see real clearly, my boots and my pant legs were covered in fleas. It was an experience that I'd never had before, to say the least. Even though I've flipped 200 houses, I've never gone into a house where immediately as I walked in and I'm there for less than a minute, I am covered in fleas. And, I tried to keep my cool about myself just a little bit. And I went and finished up taking my pictures really quick, and I ran out the back door. And I brushed myself off rather quickly. And wouldn't you know, the backyard had fleas too. And so I took my pictures back there and got out to the front yard and then brushed off the fleas again. And lucky for me, the person who I was with at this property brought a can of flea spray, and she sprayed me down really, really good. And then I dried off, and then I opted to get sprayed down again because I really didn't want to bring any of those little guys home. I would have been in a whole lot of trouble, if you know what I mean. In fact, I had to go ahead and just remove all of my exposed clothing in the garage and throw them immediately in the wash. And I went and showered for a second time that day. And so just watch your feet when you're walking through a house. So let's say you've got this property and you're going to go visit it. You are going to say, hey, what is this property worth? And what kind of repairs are going to be necessary? How much money? What are my repair costs going to be? Do I need a new roof? Does it have a slab leak? Do I need plumbing and electrical work done? How old is the house? All of those questions are going to be running through your head. And then how much am I going to set aside for selling costs? How much do I need to pay in commissions? How much for escrow fees? How much in title insurance? Am I going to provide a home warranty? All of those things. What about my doing business costs? Well, I set up an LLC in my company. I should actually pay for that. How about I take that out of the profits that I'm going to get here on this property? So let me cover my costs, my tax and my legal costs for setting up my company, and then pay to have my taxes done by a tax preparer, not by TurboTax or something like that, or H&R Block. Make sure, I probably shouldn't say that by name, but let's say not by someone who's all they're going to do is just ask you a couple questions and plug some numbers in the computer. We want someone who's adept at doing taxes for business owners and for real estate investors. You find someone like that, you hold on to them, and you may want to just save their name and refer them out to a few of your friends. And maybe you get your taxes done for free. Who knows if you do that? All right. We've got phenomenal classes on tax and legal so that you can protect your assets, especially your real estate assets, as you're doing business. Then you're going to put aside, hey, I want to make sure that I walk away with this much profit because this project is going to take this long and it got this much risk to it, so I need this much profit. And if you know the answers to these 5 questions, you know what you can figure out? You'll know exactly what to offer on the house. All right? So everything on here but your ARV is a cost. These are the 5 costs. And everything you experience when doing a flip, in my opinion, is going to fall into one of those 5 categories. And so if you take your ARV and subtract out these things, you're going to know exactly how much to offer. And on this house, it wasn't a lot left in the end. Just saying. We'll see what happens. Now, sometimes, different real estate strategies work better at different times. What do I mean by that? Well, in an up economy, what is a good strategy in real estate? Well, one that I can see right now is short-term rentals. That works really well in a higher economy. I'm sure there's plenty of other strategies out there if you just think about it. What's one that works in a down economy? Auctions are wonderful in a down economy. Now, why is that? Now, it's not that auctions don't work when it's an up economy. There's just less property going up for auction. Trust deed auctions is what I'm talking about here. There's less property that's going up for auction. And so the competition is a little stiffer. In a down economy, like we had 10 years ago, 9 years ago, there was a lot of property going to auction. Now, when do you want to be a real estate investor? In an up economy or in a down economy? Answer that to yourself. I hope there's people out there that say, yes, I want to be a real estate investor in an up economy as well as a down economy. So shouldn't you prepare yourself, like a Boy Scout, prepare yourself with strategies when the economy changes? Because speaking from experience, by someone who knows, who's functioned in both, sometimes what the strategy you're using right now and is working for you right now might change. And it might become more difficult as it becomes more popular. I've got a good friend right now, just speaking about the goodness of short-term rentals. It's so unbelievable. She purchased a property for short-term rental, and when the process started, there was one other in the neighborhood. And now, as she's closed the property and is doing the repairs, guess what happened? There's a few more. It's a popular strategy right now. Prepare yourself so when the economy or the market does shift in your area of focus, prepare yourself with multiple strategies so that you can, let's say, continue to be a real estate investor no matter what the economy is doing. Renatus is wonderful for this. It's beautiful. It has so many different tracks and strategies when it comes to real estate investing that you literally can invest all year round, all decade round, up or down economy, whether the main business or let's say job supplier in your area is there and functioning at 100%, or they decide to move out of the country. You've got a strategy that will work in your area. That is phenomenal. Now, auctions you don't have to just buy houses that are in your backyard, though I like doing that. But they're online as well. In fact, in January of 2018, Realty Track mentioned that there was over 500,000 houses in some stage of foreclosure. And in 2018, the economy for the nation as a whole was better than it was years previous, let's say in 2011 or 2010 or 2009. And so you can literally buy houses all across the nation while doing your analysis from your home or from your office. And so if there's a certain county in the nation that is not, let's say, is having some economic struggle, that might open up some opportunity for you to go out and help some of those people. If there's a certain state that is doing really well economically and business-wise, you may take a look online and see, hey, what is coming up for auction there where I may be able to apply my buy and hold strategy or my short-term rental strategy. It's all up to you. What do you want to do? Maybe you want to have 40 doors and retire. Maybe that's your dream. Maybe your dream is to have 40 rental doors that are all short-term rentals. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? You know, my why has grown over the years. What I mean by that is that I've acquired more of them. I have 5 children. I have a family that I adore. And when I had a job and when I was working as a paint pump mechanic, my time, the best hours of my day were spent working on other people's paint pumps. How weak is that? Now that I am a real estate investor, all with the help of Renatus, I have some time freedom and I get to spend it with these guys. My wife, Claire, is taking the picture, so she's not in the picture, but I get to spend it with them, and I love them. In fact, the only picture I have that looks better than this one is this one. They love their dad because their dad's around, and I'm present. And so if you have any inclination where you want to make a change in your life, it doesn't matter if it's for your children, if it's for your significant other, your partner, your husband or your wife. You can, and Renatus can help you get there. Ask me how I know. Bob, I'll turn the time back over to you.
Darren, you're such a rock star, man. Thanks for being our featured trainer this evening. And thanks for, once again, kind of opening the eyes of the folks out there to a greater understanding as to why multiple strategies have their place and how down economies actually can be a booming business for real estate investing as well as up economy. So it's all about the knowledge and it's all about the application of the knowledge. And Darren, you are a great example of that. And I love this shot of the family, man. That's a great one. Yeah, they love their dad. Attaboy. It kind of goes back to this, and I'm going to take the presenter controls back for just a second here because what it really comes back to is right here. It is, if home is where the heart is, shouldn't your business be there too? That's pretty much the message for this evening's webinar. I appreciate your attendance. Appreciate you, Darren, for coming out and being our featured trainer, and for Levi and Jill for being our story this evening. And we got a great week ahead of us, man. So let's go out and make it the best. Good night and God bless.